everyone, my name is Olga Davis and I'm one of the co-founders of iCook After School, and we're here today to welcome you to our team.
Yeah, welcome. I'm Neve, one of the program coordinators, and we're here to run through some of the important tips and important information you need to know on your first day entering the class. And also these videos are a great reference tool to use at any stage throughout the year. So stay tuned.
So we're going to start by walking you through all the logistical steps, everything you need to know before going into the classroom for the first time. Number one thing, make sure you have everything you need for the class, all your groceries, ingredients, everything is in order going into the classroom. Number two, very important, make sure to arrive to the class at least 15 minutes before the class time.
Olga, how can you prepare to ensure that you're going to be the class 15 minutes beforehand?
That's a great question. On my first day of classes, I always allow myself a little extra time so I can figure out, driving directions, parking situations, where to go, where's my classroom. So if I do it for the first class and give myself a little extra room, I know how long it will take me next class.
Great. And you mentioned finding the classroom. I arrive on the first day. How do I know what classroom I'll be in?
That's a great question. If we have this information ahead of time, we'll be sure to share it with you. And if not, there's always school staff, site coordinator, or one of us there that you can go ahead and ask where to go on your first day.
Great, thank you.
So now you arrive to the school on time, you got all your groceries, you're coming into the classroom and starting to set up for the class. So you take a cutting board and make a station for each child, but also for yourself, you want to do a demonstration station somewhere in the room where it's visible for everybody. And as the kids starting to come in, review the roster so you can see everybody's allergies, ahead of time, and start taking attendance.
And Olga, after the first day, what do you do with the attendance sheet?
It's a great question. So make sure to take a picture of the attendance and send it to us. If there are any kids who signed up for the class late and you wrote their names in, it will give us an opportunity to add them to our official roster. And another thing to keep in mind with those late enrollments, you can only accept the kids in the class if you can verify their allergies. For students who signed up late, if we communicated this information to you, we'll be sure to communicate their allergies as well. If it's a teacher or school staff bringing a child in, make sure you can confirm their allergies. And if you cannot, it's not safe for those kids to attend the class.
And then you're ready to get started in the class. So the very first thing I love to do is go over your class rules. So we have a set of iCook rules, and especially on your first day, just introduce the kids to the rules because you're going to be consistently using these throughout, and just explain to them why is it important that we wash our hands with soap before we cook, and why is it important to wash our fruit and veg. And then just make it fun and ask kids if they remember what rules were that we used from the previous weeks.
That's a great tip, and I actually start every single class I teach going over the rules, because then I know kids remember it and I can reference them back throughout the class.
Oh, that's a good idea.
With the rules, introduce kids to the dish that you're making today and get them really excited about your menu for the class and the topic that you're covering.
Yeah, definitely. And you just explain step-by-step process of what's going to occur in the lesson. And then also, especially remember with younger kids, it's important to just give them one or two instructions at a time.
Because they can't remember multiple steps.
No,
right?
they forget. So that's what I always do. And Olga, we're dealing with 2 recipes. Sometimes I get stressed and overwhelmed with timing and how I'm going to make these 2 recipes in class. Do you have any tips or techniques on how to get over that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think going into the classroom with a plan really helps.
Okay.
If you have a recipe that requires baking, that's going on first, and then as it's baking, you might be moving on to the second recipe.
Okay.
Also, if it is a larger class, that's the time when you run into this time management issue, you will be working with a partner, and that's a great help for you too, if you work really well together.
Yeah, so from my experience working with a co-partner, it's a great resource to have, and to utilize it can sometimes be difficult, but I would advise you're dealing with 2 recipes, so talk and plan with your partner beforehand. You take a lead for one recipe and assist while they're leading it, and then switch over for the second recipe. But
I think in this case also, keep an eye on your partner when you're in assisting role. Actively walk around the kids, anticipate your partner's need. Maybe is it passing around knives, or keeping an eye on the oven, where you're actually working as a unit together instead of just one person taking it easy.
Yeah, I agree.
comes to cleaning, I like to keep my life easy and have kids do all the work. I'll remind them that it's one of our rules.
Oh yeah, clean as you go.
Yeah, so I'll remind them to keep their station clean. I might put an empty plate on the table and tell them that's where all the garbage goes.
And you know what's great about that is the kids aren't up and about going to the garbage all the time. And instead, at the very end of the class, you might have a table leader that can then take the table's garbage and put it in the bin.
Exactly, it eliminates all the chaos of kids being up and moving around the classroom. And remember, don't start cleaning until more than 5 minutes before the dismissal.
Yeah, and for dismissal, just make sure you get kids lined up in an organized line. You might play the silent game so they can line up and see who's the quietest. I often say, oh, we're robbers, so they like have to pitter patter over to their line.
That's great.
And then once they get to their designated area, some might go to extended care and others might go to parents. So
Yeah.
make sure parents sign off on their dismissal sheet beforehand.
Yeah. And the key to success in your class is the proper classroom management, which we will cover in our next video.
Stay tuned.